will the clerk call the roll, please?
Commissioner Look.
Here.
Commissioner Brastad.
Here.
Commissioner Schulte.
Here.
Commissioner Meisner.
Here.
Commissioner Gamache.
Here.
Commissioner Reinert.
Here.
Thank you, and we will then move to tax claims and abatements. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
A motion to approve, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gamache. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Brastad.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
That item passes. Item 5 on your agenda is to consider accepting the regular claims paid over $500 and purchase card claims paid for the period ending October 8th of 2021. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
A motion by Commissioner Look. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Reinert. Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Commissioner Brastad.
Aye.
And that item passes. Next, I'll look for a motion to approve the minutes from October 12th of 2021, the county board meeting.
So moved.
I have a motion by Commissioner Brasted. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Meisner. Any corrections to the minutes? Seeing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Those minutes are adopted. I have no chair's remarks today, so we'll move on to our additional item for our board today, our additional agenda item. And we'll start with Commissioner Brasted.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our management committee just met this morning, and we have 2 items for the board. The first is a new position in information technology. It's a 1.0 FTE lead engineer network grade D115, and we've got Susan here to tell us a little bit about this.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the County Board. I'm Susan Freeland, the Director of Information Technology. As I mentioned at Management Committee this morning, this is very similar to something we did in 2018 when we had a retirement coming in the network area. This is a similar but a little different position. It is another retirement. And so in the case of this individual, he plans to leave the county in January upon a specific anniversary date for him. This individual was originally planning to stay until the spring of this year and then decided to stay until the summer and then the fall. And now he's finally leaving in January, although we wish he was staying longer. We know that in the industry, this type of position is difficult to fill. When we went through this process back in 2018, we posted the position around the November timeframe. We did not fill it until the April of the following year. I anticipate that probably happening again. So what we're looking to do today is get approval to create this new position, post it, fill it, and then upon this individual's retirement in January, that other position will go away.
Great. Mr. Chair, I'm happy to move that.
There's a motion before us. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a number of seconds. I will take Commissioner Meisner. She's closest to me. So we have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Commissioner Brastad.
Aye.
That item passes.
And the second item is to adopt Resolution 2021 M13, a resolution approving the tentative agreement between the County of Anoka and Law Enforcement Labor Services representing the Licensed Sergeants Unit for the calendar year 2021. And I'll offer that resolution.
The resolution has been offered and is before you. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Commissioner Brastad.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye. That item passes.
And that concludes my management report.
Thank you, Commissioner Brasted. Also on our additional agenda, we do have the committee report for information technology. So for that, I will turn to Commissioner Gamache.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The IT committee met on October 18th. We had a good discussion about upcoming events or upcoming initiatives from IT, and Susan Vreeland is here. She's going to give us the top highlights of things that I think the rest of the board would like to hear.
Mr. Chair, members of the County Board, thank you. So we focused our last meeting on informational items just related to updates for the department. It's been a busy year for us as it has for the rest of the county, but we really wanted to highlight and just kind of the variety of things we're doing in IT for the committee. A couple of things, we've got some large initiatives going on that I know the board has heard about before, but continuing to be involved in those. County Attorney's Office has a case management initiative that we're very involved in and moving into the second phase of that, so that's been a very interesting project. A couple other ones I know you've heard about, HRMS. We're certainly working with a number of different areas related to that implementation. We're also working with our partners in finance and central services. We're preparing to get on the road for a very large RFP for a replacement of that system, and that's going to be a big animal of its own, but we're really looking forward to moving down the road. And then we've got a couple of initiatives that it's kind of behind the scenes, but it's more public facing, and these are the ones that really I see a lot of value in because it impacts the citizens that we serve. We've done a number of forums for the medical examiner's office related to things the public can now do online. At a time of loss, it's really important that we try to automate some of those services so they don't have to come in and get paperwork and deal with a lot of red tape when they're caring for family members. The other thing that we've been doing is working with human services on some similar functions so that they can do more work online, more automated of filling of forms. DocuSign has been a part of that so that they can get some of the services they need remotely versus coming to the government center or coming to Blaine whenever possible. So those are just some of the things that we're doing that are more public facing. And then just a couple of statistics. We have a system where we track what staff do, how much time they put into certain projects. So as of yesterday, service requests, which could be projects, I want to do this or I need something that does X. As of yesterday, we've completed 6,089 of those requests for the year of 2021. We have 236 of those open right now. And then incidents requests, those could be, we have a problem with a vendor, we need a system fix, or it could be as simple as my mouse isn't working. As of yesterday, we have 10,081 of those closed to date. So very busy group. At a time I have a lot of retirements, they're still continuing to plug away, and so very lucky to have the team I have. We all are here at the county. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, thank you, Susan. I don't have any questions, but if any of the board members might, this is obviously a lot going on in IT. We're spending some dollars to get these new software programs up and running, and our team is doing a great job. And as Susan indicated, retirements are coming up. So I think we'll probably hear a little bit more of what we heard from the management committee this morning. Perhaps that there's somebody coming on and we need to fill some spaces. But I'll leave it up to the board if anyone has any questions.
Commissioner Reiner.
Yeah, I guess I'd just make a comment from that IT meeting. We sat through all the projects that you're involved with. I'm not sure if the number got up to 30, but we sat there for a long time, and it's pretty impressive. All the things that are happening under IT right now, and I believe we are down in the number of people that you need to run that department by about 20% now. So we should all be paying attention to giving her the assistance, need, and support that she needs to get everything done you want to, because a lot of good things happening.
Thank you. And if I may add to the commissioners, one of those positions that were down is someone who left the county. The rest of them are all retirements. So I'm lucky that I'm not losing people to the outside world, but we are anticipating quite a few more retirements, and so that's what we're trying to gear ourselves up for.
Thanks, Susan. Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Meisner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And not to alarm anyone, but I believe if I'm remembering correctly, the stats for the retirement could be up to 60% of your department. So just to, again, educate all of us about the severity of what you have, what you're literally on the cusp of right now.
Correct. About 61% of my staff are at or very near retirement, and more of them are at the at than the very near. So that is a challenge for us. The other challenge in general is the market. So one of the vacant positions I have is a developer position. That position has been open for almost 300 days. And we are being very creative in how we fill it, try to fill it, and HR has been a great partner in that, but it is just an incredibly tight market for technology right now.
Commissioner Reiner.
Yeah, so if any of the tens of thousands of people that are watching this today are in IT and are looking for a position, come to Anoka County, we might have something for you.
Open arms.
Well,
Free pop on me.
I heard a little laughter at the tens of thousands, but I'm sure our viewership's up there.
we are being very creative, and the Job Training Center has also been a great partner, so we really are putting ourselves out there. And so I'm confident that, one, we will fill those gaps, and two, in the interim, like I said, I got an incredible team, and they're being very creative in getting the work done for the county, so.
Well, I would like to comment that it says a lot for the leadership at the county and in IT that people are retiring from the division. That means they've worked there a while. It means they've enjoyed their time there. They didn't transfer out to somewhere else or take another job. So that's the good news. The bad news is we need to fill those positions from the bottom up. And it's a workforce shortage everywhere. We're not alone, particularly in technology fields. But nonetheless, we got to keep our shoulder to the wheel and keep it an enticing work environment. We do what we can as elected officials to make sure our appointed officials have everything they need to run their departments efficiently, effectively, and make it an enticing work environment. Thank you, Commissioner Gamache. That concludes the IT report, and we will now move on to our regular committee reports. We'll start with the Transportation Committee. We did have an opportunity to meet on October 18th over at the Transportation Division. And we have a few items for your consideration today. First, in the Highway Division, the committee recommends approval of a resolution authorizing Anoka County to enter into a LRIP, or Local Road Improvement Program agreement, with the Minnesota Department of Transportation for improvements to Trunk Highway 610 at East River Road Interchange in the city of Coon Rapids. Joe, is there an explanation to go with this that anybody might want?
Sure. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, members of the board. My name is Joe McPherson. I'm the Transportation Division Manager and County Engineer. So there's been a lot of talk at recent county board meetings regarding this area. Specifically, towards the top of your screen that's before you, we are currently working on the Foley Railroad Grade Separation Project, which has been underway all summer. It's a 2-year project that'll conclude next year. This particular project here that the grant is for is in relation to what you can see on the screen there. We have what we call a half-access interchange. So in the eastbound direction on Highway 610, you can get off of 610 onto East River Road, but you can't get back on. And then vice versa in the westbound direction, you can't get off, but you can get back on. And so that creates trouble for those that are trying to access the commercial and industrial area there towards the bottom of your screen, as well as the residential neighborhoods. So the money that was received through the legislature is to look at that interchange, study some alternatives, some ways that we can potentially add a westbound off and an eastbound on-ramp to make that a full access interchange, which will be a major benefit to the community around there. So these funds will help support that. A project is currently underway, and this will just help support the funding for that project.
Thank you, Joe. Commissioner Gamache.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll offer the resolution. This has been something that the city of Coon Rapids has been working hard on to get this money to and get this opened up as an intersection. It doesn't make a lot of sense when you look at it. I guess it was kind of at the end of probably the 610 project, and maybe their space wasn't there for, or the money wasn't there. But thanks to the legislature, it is now, and I'll offer that resolution.
The resolution has been offered and before us. Is there any further comments? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Commissioner Brastad.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
That item passes. We'll move on to item 2, where the committee recommends approval to enter into a license agreement with Armstrong West Retail to allow the installation of a fence within the county right-of-way along the west side of Armstrong Boulevard, just north of Highway 10 in the city of Ramsey. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Brasted. Joe, why don't you give us a little more background on this one, please?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So when you hear us say that we're going to allow a fence into our right-of-way, that sounds like a big no-no. Typically, that's something that we don't allow. In this case, it's a special situation where, as you can see on the screen, it's that L-shaped building that exists there. There is a childcare facility that's going to go into that strip mall. And so on the east end of that, they want to construct a playground area for the kids. And as you head south on Armstrong from the top of the screen south, you're starting to go up a ramp or an embankment that has a pretty sizable retaining wall that's within our right-of-way. And so as you start climbing over the railroad, you start to have a grade separation there. This is a unique scenario where there's a little bit of right-of-way between the face of that wall and where that property is. And essentially, they just want to utilize that to keep the kids corralled in. And so they're going to extend their fence up to the face of that wall. But they know, per this license agreement, that being allowed to use that small amount of space there, if we ever have to get in there to do any maintenance on that wall, if we ever have to get in there to maintain the city utilities that are in that area, it is 100% their cost. It's just kind of a unique scenario where we've created a grade separation there, and essentially that wall is going to act as the side of their fence. So it's an opportunity where we could work with the community and do something good.
Thank you, Joe. We do have a motion and a second. I have a comment by Commissioner Look and then Commissioner Gamache.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, thank you. I'm very willing to help this developer. This developer has been a kind of the first commercial developer out of the gate since the Armstrong Interchange went in. And this, there's been a lot of housing development in this area, but not so much commercial. So encouraging them and enabling them to sell this or rent this area now to childcare, I think is nice. And will be well used by the community, and certainly want to encourage them and as they continue to develop out this area. So,
Thank you, Commissioner Look. Commissioner Gamache.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Joe, is this fence just for making sure the kids don't get out? It's not kind of a protective fence? You mentioned there's a retaining wall in case, God forbid, somebody goes off the road, they'll be held up by the retaining wall?
Yeah, correct. So on the top of Armstrong Boulevard, it's a little hard to see in the screen, but there is actually a sidewalk
Okay.
on that side, and then there's also a parapet wall on top of the retaining wall that'll prevent any vehicles from going over.
Okay.
This is simply, they're just running a chain link fence up to the edge of the bottom of the wall to keep the kids in.
Gotcha, thanks.
Yep.
Seeing no further comments, we do have a motion and a second, and this requires a roll call vote.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
aye.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
That item passes. Item 3 on your agenda under transit, the committee recommends approval to enter into a subrecipient grant agreement with the Metropolitan Council for the period of January 1st, 2022 through December 31st of 2022 for a Congestion Mitigation Air Quality Grant Fund, otherwise known as CMAQ, for Anoka County's transportation management organization known as Commute Solutions. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a motion by Commissioner Meisner, second by Commissioner Gamache. Is there further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
That item passes. That does conclude the Transportation Committee report. We'll now move on to the Finance Committee report and turn to Commissioner Look.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Finance and Capital Improvements Committee met on October 19th, came away with one action item. The action item is that the committee recommends the county board adopt resolution 2021-F3, declaring the official intent of Anoka County to reimburse certain expenditures from the proceeds of tax-exempt bonds that may be issued by the county at some point in the future. So this just gives us the ability to reimburse ourselves for expenses that we're incurring at this point in the event that we do decide to go out to bond. I should clarify, I should emphasize that it's not a going out to bond resolution or at this point, so.
Is there an offer of the resolution?
I'll offer it.
The resolution's been offered by Commissioner Gamache. Is there further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
That item passes.
And, Mr. Chair, the rest is informational items. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Look. Commissioner Meisner.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. Apologies. I do have actually a question, and thank you, Commissioner Look, for actually clarifying this resolution. But I was just thinking that it's been quite some time, I think, right before this board has even had to have this, if we haven't bonded in quite a while.
We have actually bonded not that long ago when we did some library work, I believe, or some work in the courthouse, or both. But that was still a few years back.
Okay.
But nonetheless, yes, this is, again, this is a resolution saying that we're going to reimburse ourselves
If we
from a
choose to.
bond if we choose to let a bond. Gives us the ability to reimburse ourselves for expenses we're incurring today. For instance, a simple example, the contracts we signed with ICS and with Wold at our recent meeting, we're expending money today for that. We just want to be able to pay ourselves back for that with this bond if we choose to let it.
If we choose to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes the finance report. We will move on to the Human Services Committee report, and we'll turn to Commissioner Reinert.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. The Human Services Committee met on October 19th, and we have a few items in front of you for your consideration today. First, we'll move to the consent agenda. We've got 3 items there. If there's any questions, we'll hear those now. Otherwise, entertain a motion.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
A motion by Commissioner Brassad. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Meisner. Further discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
That item passes.
All right, on our regular agenda, we'll start with social services. We have 1 item there. This is to consider adoption by the county board to enter into contract C0008885 with Guild Services for Homeless Street Outreach Services in the amount not to exceed $479,827.69 from November 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2023. Basically, I think a lot of us have heard that homeless is on the rise, and this is going to allow us to move from a 0.5 position, half of a full-time position, to 2 full-time people, increasing our capacity out there 4 times. Who will really be helped by this is local law enforcement and our sheriff's office, because they're the ones dealing with it.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Meisner. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gamache. Is there further discussion? Commissioner Meisner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just commentary that I mentioned in the committee meeting as well. So this grant actually was not the full capacity that we were able to have, and we will continue to ask for more funds for this. This is, as Commissioner Reinhardt said, really needed with street outreach specifically. So good luck in the future for gaining more funds for this need. Thank you.
Commissioner Look.
Mr. Chair, can I just get a little more explanation on, there's positions obviously, but $479,000 worth of positions. Obviously, there's more services that must be done, or housing costs that are done, or what constitutes $479,000?
I think Cindy Caesar will come to the mic and tell us where this is all, what these funds are used for.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, my name is Cindy Caesar, and I'm the Human Service Division Manager. You know, this grant actually goes through 2023, and so the funding will support the 2 positions as a part of, you know, that grant for the outreach services that are needed in our community.
So for clarity, for Commissioner Look's question, the $479,827 is for 2 positions for 2 years.
Correct.
Thank you. Commissioner Look, any further questions?
Mr. Chair, so just for clarification here, positions are $119,000 each?
You know, I think I'll have to get back to you about the actual cost for the positions. I know that we also do provide some services as a part of this, you know, when we're providing outreach. You know, we may pay for a hotel stay, you know, if there's food that is needed, supplies, those types of things are also a part of the grant.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you, Cindy. Any further discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
That item passes.
All right, so, next we'd move to Public Health and Environmental Services, but before we go there, and before I leave Social Services and Behavioral Health, I want to take a little time to do a shout out to Ruth Engelstad, who is stepping down from being Chair of Adult and Children's Mental Health Advisory Council. She's been in there a long time. And I didn't get to know her personally. She's been involved with this longer than I have, but I understand that she's dearly loved and has done a fantastic job. She's been in there since 2001, appointed chair of the adult end of this in 2006. Then it was combined, both adult and children in 2014, and she's been handling that since then. So she's stepping down, and just wanted to say thanks, Ruth, and you've done a great job, and from everyone that I've talked to, you're going to be missed. So, then with that, I guess we'll move to Public Health and Environmental Services, and we have a couple items there. We'd like to have the board consider adoption to enter into amendment number 1 to grant contract C0008540 with the Minnesota Department of Health for COVID-19 response and vaccination implementation in an amount of $3,246,273 through December 31st, 2023. We did have $1.6 million, I think, dedicated, and this brings us up to $3.2 million. And I guess, as we all know, it's not over yet. There's boosters coming, and these dollars will help to implement those.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Meisner. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gamache. Is there further discussion? Commissioner Gamache.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just curious, when we first started the COVID-19 vaccination back in January, February of 2021, we had some outreach out into where we were at the Bunker Hills Archery Center doing vaccinations. Do we expect the same with boosters for people that we'll have set up, and that information will go out to where people can go for those types of things? Thank you.
Cindy.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Gamache. Yeah, I think that our services and our outreach has shifted over time to whatever our community needs are. So with the boosters being rolled out, most likely in the next week or two, we have been working very closely with our school districts. And so we do have 6 different clinics that we've set up in a couple different schools that have requested our help. And those are on Saturdays, and we will be posting those on our website. So if parents also would like to have that opportunity, we will provide a booster to them as well. As you know, they're also, this effort is a community effort. So our clinics and also many of our drugstores, et cetera, offer the same type of service, and we coordinate very closely with them as well.
Thanks.
I will note, I saw a recent item from the CDC that they're allowing commingling of these vaccines. If you got the Pfizer, you can get a Moderna booster. If you had Moderna, you can get a Pfizer booster. So when it comes time to get your booster, you don't have to be fussy as to which specific product you get. Thank you. Any further discussion on this item? If not, it'll require a roll call vote.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye. That item passes.
Next, HS Committee would like the board to consider adoption to enter into contract C0004990F. And this is an amendment number 6 with Minnesota Waste-Wise Foundation for to enhance the non-residential recycling efforts with the Anoka County business and education community in the amount not to exceed $106,000 from January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2021. And primarily this is to, I guess, enhance and help to add schools with those recycling efforts.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
A motion by Commissioner Gamache. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Meisner. Further discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte. Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
That item passes.
Next, we'd like to consider adoption by the county board to enter into contract C0003826C. This is an extension with Ace Solid Waste Incorporated for refuse and recycling services for up to 2 years at $140,000, $890 per year. With a guarantee 1-year minimum, extension agreement provides for a 15% buyout for the county for early termination during the second year of the contract. And this extension is the same rate as we've been paying.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Brassad. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Look. Is there further discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Look.
just explanation on the reason for a buyout?
Commissioner Look, as I understand it, and I will turn to somebody else if I have it wrong, but they originally had a contract that was, or an RFP that was let, and they turned down all respondents to the RFP. And they're reletting that RFP. And if they get somebody that has a better option, in the second year, we could buy out Ace and sign on a new contractor. So the 15% would be our buyout price to get out of the second year.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
That item passes.
All right, next we're going to move to community corrections, and we've got 2 items here. But the first item we're going to break up into 2 pieces as recommended by our county attorney. And Ed, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the first part is to collaborative, or is an agreement for all the counties to collaboratively operate with us. And the second part is for guaranteed bed space. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. And that's the reason for the division, dividing this up into 2. So we'll take the first one too, and that's to consider adoption by the county board to enter into contract C0008712. This is a joint powers agreement with Benton, Chisago, Isanti, Kennebec, Mille Lacs, Pine, Sherburne, Stearns, Washington, and Wright counties to collaboratively operate the East Central Regional Juvenile Center from January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2026, with an automatic renewal through December 31st, 2031.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
A motion by Commissioner Meisner. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gamache. Further discussion? Commissioner Gamache, then Commissioner Meisner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to, I mean, this has been a great agreement that we've had for a number of years. It's been working out just fantastic out at the East Central Regional Juvenile Center, and it's good to see that all of the counties are signing on again. It is just a great way to combine our efforts, and I'm glad that it's, we're having another joint powers agreement with all the same counties back in again, so thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Gamache. Commissioner Meisner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, I'll just echo Commissioner Gamache's sentiments and then just commentary. I know Dylan's worked really hard at modifying this, and the group has had nothing but positive things to say about some of these slight changes. So thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Reinert.
Yeah, just final comment, kind of, I guess, following the comments we just heard, in that it's a good program and improving. And I guess maybe a sign of that is I think it's Benton and Stearns County that were 2 of the original members that then, for some reason, bowed out. And then they've recently, as of this year now, jumped back in. So it is a good program and getting better and being noticed. So.
Very good. Thank you. Further discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye. Now we'll take the second part of number 8 here, and that is also in contract C0008712. And this is to, let's see, let me get it right here. Further consider recommending the county board enter into the following contract for guaranteed bed space at the East Central Regional Juvenile Center from January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2026 with an automatic renewal through December 31st, 2023. And really, the difference in all these different contracts here, I won't read them all out, but it's really guaranteed the number of bed space.
The only quick correction I have is the last date you read should say 2031,
Oh, what'd I say?
2023.
Okay, you're right and I'm wrong.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
There's a motion before us. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Meisner. Is there further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
That item passes.
Last but not least, to consider adoption by the county board to enter into contract C0006127G. This is a renewal with Summit Food Service LLC for meals services at community corrections institutions with the per meal cost ranging from $2.53 to $3 and say 43 cents. It's 0.429. Based on meal counts from January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022.
Is there a motion to approve?
So,
I have a motion by Commissioner Look and a second by Commissioner Gamache. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Hey,
Commissioner Look.
aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
That item passes.
and the rest of the report is informational, and that completes my report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Reinert. Let's move to the Intergovernmental and Community Relations Committee report, Chair report, and we'll turn to Commissioner Brassad.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just one quick, easy, fairly routine, but exciting item. I would recommend the county board approve an agreement with Rice County for death investigation and medical examiner services commencing December 1st, 2021 for a one-year term with automatic renewals for two-year terms.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Reinert. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Brassad. Is there further discussion? This is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
That item passes.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Brassad. We will now move to the Property Records and Taxation Committee report. Commissioner Meisner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Property Records and Taxation Committee met on October 18th. There were no public comments, but I do always accept, in addition to coming in person to the meetings, you can email me at co.anoka.mn.us. We have two action items today that are very similar, but I will take them separately. The first one is Resolution 2021 PRT. This is the application by Anoka County Highway Department for conveyance of tax forfeited property for conditional use. This is for the right-of-way. PIN number 04-31-24-14-0091 in the city of Coon Rapids.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Gamache. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Reinert. Is there further discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Gamache.
just I believe Commissioner Meisner left off the 11 off after the PRT. I'm not sure if that's got in the record, but
Oh, thank you.
It's in the record now.
Thank you very much.
You forgot Commissioner Reinert's line. You were right.
Oh, you're right, I'm wrong.
Very good. With that, we'll have a roll call vote.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye. That item passes.
And action item action item 1B is Resolution 2021 PRT 12. Again, application by the Anoka County Highway Department for conveyance of tax forfeited property for conditional use. Again, this is for road right-of-way. This is PIN number 21-31-23-11 2021-0010 in the city of Blaine.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Look. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gamache. Further discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
And that item passes.
The rest of my items are informational, but as always, I do like to share. One was the update about the Red Oaks development groundwater contamination in the city of Andover. And essentially, the city of Andover is currently in the process of conducting a feasibility study to determine the costs associated with running city water through the impacted areas. And as well as working with MPCA. So my understanding is that the amount of parcels is still unknown. That feasibility study will conduct that, but it could be 47 parcels or so or more. And then as far as our elections update, the Anoka County Attorney's Office recently completed their review of unlawful voting during the 2020 elections. And of the over 211,000 votes cast in the 2020 general election here in Anoka County, there were 12 cases that were referred. And of those 12, only 4 are going to be charged, which is a 0.000188% in total. And as far as elections as well, just a friendly reminder that this upcoming November 3rd is a general election for some areas in the city of Circle Pines, in the city of Lino Lakes. For school district offices, it is Anoka Hennepin School District, Fridley, Spring Lake Park, and White Bear Lake. You can find more information on our website at elections and voter registration. So please feel free to look at that information. And our next available committee will be November 15th at 1 o'clock at room 710 in this government center. And that concludes my report.
Again, that election is November 2nd, correct?
Yes. Did I say the wrong date?
I think so.
I did? I'm on a roll today. November 2nd. Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes the PRT report. We will now move into the Public Safety Committee report and turn to Commissioner Brassad again.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our Public Safety Committee met on October 19th. We have 2 action items, both under the Sheriff's Office. The first is to recommend adoption of Resolution 2021-PS11, acknowledging the retirement and transfer of ownership of Anoka County Sheriff's Office K-9 Nico to Detective Troy Edmond and K-9 Heinz to Detective Baumgartner. And these 2 dogs have served us very well, and the county has agreed to transfer ownership to their 2 handlers, and they will accept ownership, responsibility, and liability of Nico and Heinz. And I'm happy to offer that resolution.
Excellent. The resolution has been offered. Is there any further comments? Commissioner Gamache.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I see the sheriff is in the audience, so I just was kind of wondering, is there a life period at certain time? It says something to the effect that they are determined to have no economic value to the county and wishes to retire. I'm thinking that for myself at some point in time, but I was just curious if there's something that they stand out and they say, okay, they're 5 or 10 years old or something like that.
I do think a couple of these are due to some promotions within the office, but Sheriff, if you could share like the timeline that you have of a normal K-9 and what's involved in that.
Well, absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. For the record, my name is James Stewart, and my honor to stand here before you as your Sheriff of Anoka County. And this is kind of a unique opportunity. Typically, our dogs see anywhere between 6 and 10 years, depending on their state of maybe some mental health, but probably physical health often, because they're always happy dogs. But the physical state, and then the other factor is, in this case, it's kind of the totality of the circumstances, and both of these handlers have done such an outstanding job serving our community with their canine partners that they're both finding themselves in a situation for promotion. And so when we work with our handlers and our trainers who facilitate the canines for our office, they are asked at this point in the dog's career and life, is it worthy of transitioning to another handler? And they're both on the latter part of being viable to transition. And with the promotions that are coming up, the other part of the reality is both of the handlers, obviously you spend 24 hours a day, they become part of your family, you're riding with them, and they would have both likely declined the promotion if they had to give up their dogs. And I think most of us can also relate and understand that. The other side of this is both of these canines had been donated to the county by community partners that had also not just sponsored them financially, but were allowed to name the dogs at the time. And so those partners have also been notified of the situation. So it's kind of a collective win-win. We do have some future donations lined up for the replacements as well. So we're finding ourselves in a good place with our community partners.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, the resolution is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That will pass unanimously. On to item 2, Commissioner Brasted.
The committee recommends approval and execution of the 2022 law enforcement contracts for the term of January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 22, with the following municipalities. The first one is the Township of Linwood in the amount of $263,370, and the City of Andover in the amount of $3,337,486. These are contracts that the cities contract directly with the sheriff's office for to provide law enforcement, and these are our last 2 contracts.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
A motion by Commissioner Gamache and a second by Commissioner Reinert. Is there further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Opposed.
Commissioner Brastad,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
That item passes.
And that concludes my public safety report.
Thank you, Commissioner Brasted. That brings us back to our regular agenda and item 9, where we'll consider a resolution 2021-117, appointing Jessica G. Leth as our Economic Assistance Director, Division of Human Services. Is there an offer of the resolution?
I'll offer the resolution.
Commissioner Brasted has offered the resolution, and it is before you. Is there any further discussion? Commissioner Meisner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I see that Jessica is in the audience today with a lot of support. I do want to preface that my comments are about the process and not anything with the person. And I've been pretty consistent about this. I know that this particular opening is because of, well, actually, that I do have a question. So some of the language with Brad Thiel, it says a resignation, and I want to say that it was presented to us as a retirement. But regardless, it was open in, very abruptly. So I understand that we did have to fill this position quickly. My question is, was this ever posted, though, in terms of a job opening, and were there interviews conducted?
I will turn to Administrator Silveraja to answer a couple of those questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the County Board. This particular position was posted internally, and interviews were conducted. I know that some of the County Board members as well participated with that interview process. As you may be aware, there has been a great deal of transition taking place. Literally, the entire 4th floor moved from Anoka over to Blaine, an entire redesign of the service delivery model, all of which has been planned and coordinated by Jess and her team, as well as with the assistance of Cindy. And so going out and trying to bring someone in the midst of that would be nearly impossible. We certainly appreciate the great work that has been done, and so it was posted internally.
Excellent, thank you. Commissioner Brasted.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Administrator, for pointing out those changes and all the commotion that's going on within that department. I do want to comment that I think this is a really good example of business planning and succession planning. When you cross-train and you have employees that are very knowledgeable about everything in their department, it would be extremely difficult to bring someone in off the street that doesn't know the diverse, intricate changes and everything about the different programs within this department. I think we always want to make sure that we plan for succession when we do have people to leaving for resignations or retirements. But by the show of support by Jessica's colleagues here today, I think this just really shows that we're committed to employees, and we appreciate too when employees are committed back to us as a business and an organization. So very happy to support this.
Thank you, Commissioner Brasted. Commissioner Reinert, then back to Commissioner Meisner.
Yeah, so I did have I made these same comments at the management meeting just prior to this one, but I'm going to say it again. And I did have a chance to meet with Jessica prior to the offer of employment, and very impressive candidate, very knowledgeable, has great ideas, good approach to the department, and also had some good ideas as far as the move and the new location she'll be serving in. So I think she's going to do a great job and is the right pick.
Thank you, Commissioner Reinert. Commissioner Meisner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, and these are all really good reasons. And I don't know if I've ever been here where there hasn't been a true valid reason why we're not doing internal searches only by philosophy and principle alone. I just think that it is healthier to open it up. And the only times that we do actually, oftentimes I should say, I don't want to say never, oftentimes when we do post externally, it's because we literally have to. There isn't anything. That's not to say that we don't have talent here. I'm a huge staff supporter around developing our leaders. And succession planning, I 100% agree with Commissioner Brasted. We have to have a plan in place. IT, we're gonna, on the cusp of 60% of retirement, so you have to have a plan in place to fill these positions, but that doesn't necessarily mean only internally. So I've been consistent about this though, and I appreciate you guys hearing me out in my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Reinert.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with going outside, but it is common for larger companies and government to try to hire from within, retain that historical knowledge. There's a culture that that exists, and then they get that. You don't have to hire someone and then I guess spend the next 6-9 months to see if they're going to work out or not. You already know that. Also, though, it's an important thing. It's as an incentive to other employees. If you have the culture of hiring from within first and then going outside, I guess, everybody that's working for the county knows that they're in the game, that they can advance, that there might be a future for them, and that they can maybe have an entire career in the county. And so there's that incentive too for existing employees to, be able to advance and hope for, that next job that maybe they have their eye on. So, and that as a culture and a positive influence on employees is immeasurable. So it's, but I see, your point for going outside, and I don't see any problem with that, but there are all the pluses of also hiring from within.
Thank you, Commissioner Reinert. I would comment, I was lucky enough to be on the interview panel for Jess, and thoroughly impressed. Pleased you're here, pleased you're staying. I just want to point out too, if you look at the leadership structure across Anoka County, there's no glass ceiling here. We have women in leadership roles all across the county. And we have some great male leaders as well. And there's just no barriers. And it doesn't matter your gender, your race, your religion. In Anoka County, you have every opportunity to excel. And we're proving that all the time by hiring people in these positions. I'm proud of that. I'm glad we're doing it. This is just one more example of where a female was accelerated in her career because she's far and away the best for this position. So thank you for being there, and let everybody know that works for Anoka County that we are an equal opportunity employer and we want to promote everybody who's worthy. And we have our eye on everybody for that reason. Any further comments? Seeing none, the resolution is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
Abstain.
And we have one abstention in Commissioner Meisner. Next, we will move to item 10 on your agenda, which is consider approving a contract, which is the employment agreement between Jessica G. Leth and the County of Anoka for services as the Economic Assistance Director, Division of Human Services, effective October 26th of 2021. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a motion by Commissioner Brasted. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Reinhardt. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brastad,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner,
Abstain.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Reinhardt.
Aye.
And that item passes with one abstention. And then your final item on the county board agenda is committee appointments. We'll consider reappointing Dr. Roger Werner, representing education, to the Community Corrections Advisory Board for a 2-year term ending October 2023. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Look. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gamache. Is there further discussion? I would just comment that he's been a longtime member of this committee, greatly respected in the community, and I served on that committee for a number of years and always respected his opinion. I'm glad he's willing to serve again. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That passes unanimously. With nothing else to come before the county board, we are adjourned. And we will